Bonjour, je m'appelle Madame Cave. This is the second project for anyone who is in their fourth year of language learning, and I would advise, if you've not done project 1, which was design a cartoon character, that you do that one first, as a lot of the language structures which were in that project are going to be in this one, and you'll find it a lot easier if you've done that one first. So this one is called C'est quel animal? Which animal is it? And what you're going to do is choose an animal and create a description of it, so that as someone reads the description, it's going to be very clear by the end of it which animal you are describing. So the aims are that you're going to design a lift the flap book to describe this animal, and I'll show you how to do that later. You're going to be using a French-English dictionary to find the nouns and the adjectives that you need, and you're going to show that you can understand the indefinite article, that's the word for a, the partitive article, that means some, words for some, that might be new, singular and plural nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verb endings, and making a sentence negative. So there's quite a lot of things. But as I said before, these were all covered in the Design a Cartoon Character project. And we're also going to be making slightly more complex sentences using a subordinate clause. If you're not sure what that is, I will be explaining that later. So here is an example of a description. I'm going to read it out to you. C'est un grand animal gris qui a 4 pattes et une petite queue. Il est fort. Il habite la jungle. Il mange de l'herbe et des fruits, mais ne mange jamais de viande. Il marche lentement. C'est quel animal? Now, if you're thinking, oh, there's a lot of words I don't know there, I don't know what that means, well, don't worry, hopefully it will all become a lot clearer at the end of the project. This is the sort of writing that you are going to be aiming for. So first of all, quick revision of the word for it is. And do you remember that it is c'est? The C before the E is going S, that means it, and is, silent S, silent T, the pumping air, sound for the E, se, it is, with the apostrophe to show that the E is missing. This little man is doing the action, pointing his fingers down to help you remember, se, it is. So if you want to say it is an animal, you're going to say c'est, and then the word for an animal is un, masculine, because the word for animal is masculine, animal, an E and 2 A, animal, have a go at that, animal, c'est un animal, c'est un animal. I'm going to sound that N before the A because it makes it easy to say, and I'm going to sound the T before the vowel U because it makes it easy to say. Rather than going c'est un animal, which is quite hard and it's very sort of jumpy, to make the language flow, you're going to say c'est un animal. C'est un animal. You try that. C'est un animal. It's an animal. Now you're going to describe the size of the animal. Do you remember these two words? Let's have a go at saying them. Grand, petit. Remember that E is the tennis player E because it's before one consonant. Grand, petit. Now where do size adjectives go in a French sentence? See if you can say it's a large animal before I show you. Did you put the size adjective in front of the noun? Because that's where it goes. C'est un grande, I'm going to sound that T though because it's before a vowel, just to make it easy to say. C'est un grand animal. If it wasn't before a vowel, it would be grand, silent D. Before a vowel, c'est un grand animal. And small is going to go in front of animal, and again, to make it easy to say, I'm not going to have it silent, I'm going to sound the T because it's in front of a vowel. C'est un petit animal. C'est un grand animal, c'est un petit animal. You have a go at saying those? C'est un grand animal, c'est un petit animal. Okay, colours. Shall we quickly say them together? Jaune, rouge, orange, rose, bleu, noir, vert, brun, violet, blanc, gris. Now, where do you put colour adjectives in a sentence in French? Hopefully you've just said to yourself after the noun. So how would you say it is a tall orange and brown animal? We'll call those colours orange and brown. It's a tall orange and brown animal. Have you said it aloud? So I'm going to show you now. C'est un grand animal orange et brun. Size adjective in front of animal, the noun, orange and brun after. Because animal is masculine, we don't need to do any changes to the size adjectives or the colour adjectives. Remember, adjectives have to be best friends. Well, it's masculine, the noun, so no change for the adjectives. How would you say it's a small green animal? C'est un petit animal vert. Can you read that out? C'est un petit animal vert. Okay, have you ever met these words for parts of the body? Now, we did parts of the face when we were describing our cartoon character, but that's human. What about for animals? The word for feet of an animal is different than for a human. A tail, which we don't have, wings, a beak, horns. Would you like to try and say that word before I say it? I've highlighted the key words sounds in red or blue, and I've put silent letters. So, bat. Try this one. Castanet lady. K. Nasty thing on your shoe sound. E-U. Silent E. K. K. K is a tail. K. Wings. Silent E, silent S, and AI makes the pumping E sound. So can you say it? L. L. Beak. E is making the S sound like in English. Beck. Beck. Sounding the C, because sometimes C can be sounded and sometimes not, if you remember. Beck, and here it's sounded. And horns. Head on the desk. Oh. Gargling. Silent E, silent S. Corn. Corn. So we've got 4 feet. Try that. Cat. Bat. A tail. It's feminine. Une queue. I know it's feminine because it's une. 2 wings. Now it's not going to be de. I'm going to sound that X to make it easy to say in front of that vowel. It will make the buzzy B sound because X between vowels is buzzy B. So deux ailes. Deux ailes. A beak is masculine. Un bec. And 2 horns. Deux cornes. This time the X is silent because there's no vowel. So vowel there, sound the X, deux ailes, no vowel, deux cornes. How are you going to remember pat is feet and queue is tail? Bec is beak. Well, bec, don't you think looks a little bit like beak? Corn, if you change the C to an H, took away the E, it would be like horn, wouldn't it? Corn, horn. Pat, not sure. I think someone once said to me it sounded like padding along, like an animal pads along. I don't know if that helps. Pat. Que, of course, it looks like the English word tail. English word queue, sorry. The word for tail in French looks like the English word queue. Well, if you think about it, a tail stretching along could be like a queue of people, couldn't it? So that might help. An L, wings, doesn't look like wings. There is a part of an aeroplane to do with wings that starts like that called aileron, but I don't know if you've ever heard of that word, but if you have, that would help. So bat, queue, aile, bec, and corne. So if we want to describe this horse, c'est un grand animal brun et blanc qui a, we'll come back to that in a minute, quatre pattes et une longue queue. It's a large brown and white animal, because it's got a bit of white there. Something, something, 4 feet and a long tail. Long is a size adjective, so I put it in front of the word for tail. It's feminine, so I put "ni" on the end. So, what does qui mean? What does a mean? We met a in the project 1 about design a cartoon character. But what about qui? Well, can you guess? A means has, so it's a large brown and white animal, has. Qui means which. Which has, and it's introducing a subordinate clause. A subordinate clause just tells you more about the main clause. So it's a large brown and white animal. We could stop there, but we're going to add a bit more information, which has a little bit more information, 4 feet and a long tail. So we've got an extra clause there following on. And we're introducing it with qui. So QU is k and a letter I, E, qui. Have a go at saying that. Qui. So which animal is which? Try reading that sentence out to yourself, then I will read it out, and you think which of these 4 animals is being described, and see if you can work it out before I match it up. Now I've put all the silent letters in grey. I think I've managed to remember them all, and I've underlined any letters that need sounding. So you have a go at reading that, and then I'll read it and see how you got on. C'est un petit animal noir et blanc qui a un bec. So, did you decide it was this one? It's a small black and white animal which has a beak. That one. Have a go at reading this aloud. C'est un petit animal orange et noir qui a 6 pattes et 2 ailes. And did you decide it was the bee? It's a small orange and black animal which has 6 legs, feet, and 2 wings. Well, I hope it's got 2 wings. It's not got 4. Anyway, it looks like it's got 2 there, but I'm just wondering now. But anyway, if you understood what that meant. Okay, can you read this one? C'est un grand animal gris qui a 2 cornes et 4 pattes. And it's this one. It's a large grey animal which has 2 horns and 4 feet. So this one, this kangaroo must go here. See if you can read it out. C'est un grand animal brun qui a une longue queue. It's a large brown animal which has a long tail. Okay, well done. So qui means which. Okay, we're going to have a little game with these spinners. I can spin these and it will land on either gris or noir. I can spin this, it will land on either deux pattes or deux ailes. And I can spin this and it will land on either deux cornes or un bec. What you're going to do, you're going to try and guess what it's going to land on by writing a sentence. So you start your sentence, c'est un animal, and then you write noir or gris. Then you write qui a, which has, and then you choose either deux pattes or deux ailes. Then you join it with and, et. Then you choose either un bec or deux cornes and put a full stop. And if you happen to choose the exact parts of the sentence which it lands on, you can say champion. I'm going to do this 3 times, so I suggest you stop the video now and find yourself a piece of paper and a pencil or pen and write 3 sentences like this one, choosing which part you want to have each time. And then I'm going to spin. Okay, so if you've got your 3 sentences written down, here we go. First one. C'est un animal noir qui a 2 ailes et 2 cornes. If you got that exact sentence, say champion. Shall we try with your second sentence? C'est un animal gris qui a 2 pattes et 2 cornes. If you got that, say champion. If you haven't got a chance to say champion, then maybe this last go. Here we go for your third sentence. C'est un animal gris qui a 2 pattes et 2 cornes. Were you champion in that one? Right, so if you wanted to talk about this zebra and say it's got a tail, it would be c'est un animal qui a une queue. But what if you wanted to give a clue as to what animal it was by saying that it hasn't got a tail, like a monkey's, a chimpanzee's not got a tail? So do you remember to make the sentence say not, you put ne or n apostrophe and pat around the verb. Which is the verb here in this bit? Well, it's a, it's has. So what you're going to put in front of the verb, ne or n apostrophe, it's going to be n apostrophe because it begins with a vowel and then pat after. But look what we say instead of a tail. In French you say c'est un animal qui n'a pas, which hasn't got de queue. You don't say a, you always say de. It's just something that you always do in French. After a negative, if you want to say a or some, you always say de. So c'est un animal qui n'a pas de queue. It's an animal which doesn't have a tail. Right, you're going to describe the character of the animal, and you're going to say it is. Now, it, you remember, is a pronoun. We did that in the last project. Pronoun replaces a noun. It's replacing the noun animal, which is masculine. So the word for it is il, because that replaces a masculine noun. So to say it is, that's the word for is, isn't it? Like we had in say. Il est. Il est. So I've just chosen 3 adjectives here. Obviously you might want to have a different adjective and you're going to need to use the dictionary for that, and I'll revise with you how to use the dictionary a little bit later on. But let's just have a look at these 3 adjectives. So this is meant to represent strong. So can we pronounce this? Fort. Fort. So if you want to say it is strong, il est fort. Il est fort. I. Il est timide. Timide in this boy is looking shy. That's because that's what it means. Il est timide. Il est timide. Or E with the accent going up there, the cute accent. O, C before an E. S, féroce. Féroce. Il est féroce. And this is meant to represent fierce. So, il est will start your sentence, and then you'll find an adjective to describe its character. In addition, we're going to say what the animal does, where it lives, what it eats, and we're going to need some verbs for this. So I've got 6 verbs here. I don't know if you've ever met any of them before. We're going to match them up with these pictures. One means eat, one means swim, fly, hunt, walk, and live. Notice these verbs have all got er on the end. There is a very large group of verbs in French that end in er, and these all belong to that group. But what does er tell us? Do you remember from the last project? It means to. So it's meaning to eat, to live, to walk. And er on the end of a verb goes the Italian action e. So let's have a go at pronouncing them. See if you can say it before me. Voler, this one. Chasser, this one. Silent H, H is always silent. Habiter, this one. Nager, remember G before an E is Pascal J. Manger, remember AN is the hand on the horn sound on. Manger. Marcher. Voler, chasser, habiter, nager, manger, marcher. But which one means which? Let's start with what I think might be an easy one. Which one do you think means to walk? It's this one, marcher, because it looks a bit like march. It doesn't mean march, it means walk, but marcher means to walk. Okay, what about this one? It's like the start of habitat, isn't it, in English? And this means to live. It might be where we got our word for habitat from the French to live. Habiter is to live. What about this one? This one looks a bit like chase, but it means to hunt in French. There's the cat waiting patiently for the mouse. So chasser is to hunt. Now, which one is eat? Which one is fly? Which one is swim? If you've not met them before, not easy to guess. This one means fly. I often think of it, volley, as thinking in football, if you kick a ball and do a volley, it flies through the air. Or volleyball, the ball flies through the air. Volley means to fly. Now this one means to swim, nager. Someone once told me they were going to remember that because it sounded a bit like nudge, and you nudge the water out of the way when you swim, nager. And manger means to eat. I don't know if you can think of a way of remembering manger means to eat. Let's have a go at saying those verbs. Remember, they all mean to eat, to swim, to fly. So manger, nager, voler, silent H, habiter, marcher, chasser. But we don't want to say to fly, to eat. We want to say, describing the animal, it flies, it hunts something, it swims. So we're going to use the pronoun il, but we can't leave the verb like that because it would mean it to fly, it to hunt. So we have to change the ending. Do you remember? We changed the ending. And what did we change it to? We changed it to an E, which will be silent. So now it will sound as il vole, il chasse, il habite, Il nage, il marche, il mange. You try those. Il vole, il chasse, il habite, il nage, il marche, il mange. Okay, I'm going to say one of those. See if you can touch the screen or point to the right word on the screen before I do. Il chasse, il nage, il mange, il habite. Okay, now I'm going to say it in English. Point to the right French. It walks, it swims, it lives, it eats, it flies, and last one, it hunts. Okay, here's a Venn diagram. Probably seen a Venn diagram before in maths. C'est un animal qui vole. It's an animal which flies. So in this section here are animals that just fly. Qui marche. C'est un animal qui marche. So here, just animals which walk. C'est un animal qui nage. Here, animals that just swim. But here, where they intersect, and c'est un animal qui nage et qui marche. Swims and walks, qui vole et qui marche. Walks and flies. An animal qui vole et nage. Swims and flies. And in the middle section where they all intersect, the three that does the three things: qui vole, qui marche, et qui nage. Okay, so we've got the word for here for a parrot, and perroquet. See if you can say the sentence to describe this before I put the parrot in the right place. Okay, I'm going to put it here. C'est un animal qui vole et qui marche, which flies and walks. What about baleine? Start your sentence with c'est un animal. C'est un animal qui nage. I'm going to put it here because it only swims. It doesn't fly and it doesn't walk. Oh, now I don't know if you've seen one of these before. Un poisson volant. It's a flying fish. It swims, obviously, but it just can skim across the surface of the water with these sort of wing-like attachments. So can you make a sentence for that? C'est un animal qui vole et qui nage. Flies and swims. Now this is a nice word. I like this word. Une libellule. It's a dragonfly. Now where is that going to go? I am going to put it here. C'est un animal qui vole because dragonflies don't live for very long and they just spend their time looking for a mate and flying around. They don't really walk at all, so I'm going to put it there. Une grenouille. What does une grenouille describe that? What does it do? C'est un animal qui marche et qui nage. Walks and swims. I suppose it kind of jumps as well. What about un canard? Should really say all three, shouldn't you? C'est un animal qui vole, qui nage, marche et qui nage. It does all three, so it's going to go in that intersection in the middle. So this means a mouton, a sheep. C'est un animal qui marche only. I do actually think that sheep, if they have to, can swim, but that's only when they have to get out of danger. So I've put it there as walk, but technically they can swim as well. So c'est un animal qui marche, c'est un animal qui nage et qui marche, c'est un animal qui nage, c'est un animal qui vole et qui nage, c'est un animal qui vole, qui marche et qui nage, c'est un animal qui vole et qui marche, et c'est un animal qui vole. Habitat. So you're going to say it lives, il habite. Remember the H is silent, il habite. The desert lives in the sea, lives in the savannah, that open grassland. The jungle. Now, when you say in English, you say it lives in the desert, the sea. We don't really need to say in French. We just habite is okay. Just that is sufficient. So il habite. You don't need a word for in, and then you say the word for the. We'll come back and just revise that in a minute. Can we say the word for desert? Can you say it? Le désert. Le désert. S between vowels goes Z. Can you say the word for sea? La mer. La mer. The word for savannah looks quite like English. La savane. And the jungle? La jungle. La jungle. So il habite le désert, il habite la mer, il habite la savane, il habite la jungle. So you need to have the word for the in front. If obviously you want to have a different habitat, you're going to need to look it up in the dictionary and then find the correct word for the in front. So quick revision of that. Do you remember it was le before a singular masculine noun, la before a feminine singular noun, ou before a singular noun beginning with a vowel, and le before any plural noun. So if you wanted to say what it hunts, il chasse. It hunts antelopes, antilope. It hunts mice. Well, it's always going to be plural, isn't it? It hunts something plural. It's not just one thing. Lots of them. So the word for the is going to be les antilopes, les souris. So what about eat? It eats, il mange. So I should think you're definitely going to need the dictionary to find the foods that it eats. This is the dictionary. Remember, I was suggesting you use. Go to the English French and put in the word in the search engine. So here I've just chose 4 random things that animals might eat. We've got bamboo. So I put in bamboo and it tells me noun. Now remember, you want a noun for this. That's the word for bamboo is masculine. I put in the word for meat, noun, food, that's what we want. That in the pink colour is the word for food, and the little F tells me it's feminine. A leaf, that of a tree, of a table, of paper. Remember, you can have different meanings of leaf, but we want tree, so it's that word and it's feminine. And grass, noun. It could be a lawn or a plant. Well, we want the plant, so that's the word for grass and it's feminine. So whatever food you want, use the dictionary, look it up. Likewise, for those adjectives you wanted or hunting, whatever animal it was, you'll need to use the English dictionary. But remember, for these, you're looking for the noun, and when you're looking for the character words, you'll be looking for an adjective. So if you say in English, it eats, you say it eats meat, it eats bamboo, it eats grass. We don't put any word in front of grass and bamboo. But in French, you can't have a noun standing by itself. It's always got to have an article. And we need to put the word for some in front. This is the partitive article, remember, some. Now, just like the definite article there are 4 words for some. So using that knowledge you have of the words for I wonder if you can work out when you use these 4 words for some. Let's have a go at saying them first. We've got du, u, de la, de ou, L apostrophe, and es, de. So can you guess when this one is? In front of a singular masculine noun. This one. In front of a singular feminine noun. This one. Singular noun, masculine or feminine beginning with a vowel. And this one, plural. So there are 4 words following the same pattern as the le and the la. That's even got la in it. That's got the L apostrophe in it. That's got the ES that le has. This one is just not like the le, it's du. So these are the 4 words for the. Let's say them again. For some, sorry. Du, de la, de le, de l, and de. Du, de la, de l, and de. This is a little flow chart I've created which might help you to choose the right word for some. Looks a little bit overwhelming. Let's have a look at it in a little bit more detail. So you've found the word for bamboo in the dictionary. It's bambou. AM is on, OU, oo. Which word for some are you going to put? Remember, in English you won't put it, it eats bamboo, but you need to have the word for some in French. So follow this flow chart. Is the sentence negative? It eats. No. Is the noun plural? Bamboo. No, we're not saying bamboos. No. Does it begin with a vowel or silent H? B. No. Is it a masculine noun? Yes. So the word for some is du. Okay. We want to say it eats leaves. This is the word for leaves. EU is E, I-double-L is Y. I-double-L after a vowel is Y. So feuille, feuille, feuille. It eats leaves. So, is the sentence negative? No. Is the noun plural? Leaves. Yes. So the word for some is des. Il mange des feuilles. Let's try it with meat. It eats meat. Okay. But we're going to actually say it doesn't eat meat. So I've put the ne and the pas around the verb mange. Il ne mange pas. So is the sentence negative? Yes. Does the noun begin with a vowel or silent H? V. No. So the word for some is de. We'd actually say in English any. It doesn't eat any meat. But it's the some or any. It means the same. De. Okay, it eats grass. Herbe is grass. Herbe. So, is the sentence negative? Il mange. No. Is the noun plural? Grass. No, we're not saying grasses. Does it begin with a vowel or silent H? Yes. Then it's de l. So, il mange de l'herbe. So you can see how this will really help you to find the right word for some. You can come back to this when you do your writing. So let's go back to that description that we had at the beginning and see now if it makes more sense to you. C'est un grand animal gris qui a 4 pattes et une petite queue. Can you work that out? It's a large grey animal which has 4 feet and a small tail. Il est fort. It is strong. It's a strong animal. Il habite la jungle. It lives in the jungle. Il mange de l'herbe. It eats, remember we just had l'herbe, grass, et des fruits, and probably you can guess that word, fruits. Mais, do you remember that from the last project? But, ne mange jamais. Now I've highlighted that word because I don't think you've met it before. So I've not done ne mange pas, I've done a different negative word, ne mange jamais. It never eats. So if you wanted to say it never does something, you would put the ne in front of the verb, and instead of putting the pas, you'd put this word jamais. Ne mange jamais de viande, and never eats. Do you remember we just had that word meat? Il marche, it walks, and then I've qualified it with an adverb, which I don't know if you've met before. Lentement means slowly, and it walks slowly. C'est quel animal? Which animal is it? Can you work out before I show you which animal is behind here? A large grey animal, 4 feet, small tail, strong, lives in the jungle, eats grass and fruits, doesn't eat meat, and it walks slowly. Did you guess an elephant? Hopefully. So now your turn. You're going to think about which animal. These are just a selection. Any animal you like. And you're going to describe its size, its colour, its physical description. Has it got a tail, a beak, its character, where it lives, how it moves, does it swim, does it walk, does it fly, and the food that it eats. Again, you'll probably want to come back to this to make sure you've included everything. Now, how to set it out? Well, your title, first of all, is, can you read this? C'est quel, it's which animal. C'est quel animal, it's which animal. In English, we'd put it around the other way and say, which animal is it? But in French, put it this way around. C'est quel animal. Now, you could just do one description and cut out some circles. And if you've got one of those split pins, you know, those pins that you push through and then you splay out at the back to hold things in place, on each section, you could write one line of the description. Basically, the idea is you're going to give this to someone else and they're going to read a little bit of information, a bit at a time, until before they get to the end, they've guessed which animal it's going to be. But I think now you're in your 4th year of language learning, you know, a lot of information about writing sentences. I think you could set yourself a challenge of actually writing 3 descriptions, choosing 3 animals. Think about doing that and using a lift the flap book like this. Let me show you how to make it. So you will just need half a piece of A4 paper, so cut the A4 paper in half, and then fold in half the short side to the short side, and then fold back one edge to the fold, and then the other edge to the fold. And then along the center fold, take a ruler and put 2 marks, one at 5 centimeters and then another at 5 centimeters. And take your scissors and cut from that mark to the next fold that you come to, and then from there to the next fold that you come to. So you've sort of got 3 flaps there. Cut. And then it will open out like that. And here you will write the description, your first description, and then underneath you will say what the animal is, like I've done here, and draw a picture of it. So the person who you're going to give this to read is going to read that without being able to see the picture underneath and what it is, and try to guess before they actually look. And then you're going to do that 3 times because you're going to have 3 descriptions. And then on the front you could write c'est quel animal. So there is your way you can present it, or you can do it with just one with a split pin, but I think you ought to set yourself a challenge of having a go at 3. Don't forget to share it with someone when you've completed it, and could you actually make a recording and read out your descriptions? We've been practicing how to say a lot of the words that you find in the dictionary which you've never seen before. Using that Collins online dictionary, it has a little sound icon that you can click and listen to the pronunciation. So you could actually have a go at pronouncing the whole description. Okay, so if you want to find out any more about this phonics system I use within these lessons, it's called Physical French Phonics, and there is the address. And now I'm going to say au revoir.